And here now on how Judge McAfee's decision could impact the former president's case moving forward, federal criminal defense attorney Ronald Chapman. Ron, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So how has this case impacted Fani Willis and her reputation as a prosecutor? Because before this case, she had a great reputation.
The reputational damage is severe here. We had Judge McAfee coming out on the record in his order, clearly indicating that there were big lapses in judgment, that there was a odor of mendacity. I had to look down to read that because it's a word I'm not too familiar with, but an odor of mendacity all over this case. Those words were very clear in this order, suggesting that the voters or the Georgia legislature would be able to make the call as to whether or not Fani Willis should even remain as a district attorney.
Judge McAfee ruled that, quote, financial gain was not a motivating factor for Willis, the DA. So why do you think that distinction matters so much in this case, Ronald?
Well, I think that the distinction in Judge McAfee's statement needs to be made clear here. What he's saying is there isn't sufficient evidence to determine that financials weren't a motivating factor, and that also it's not his role to be able to do so. And he found the appearance of impropriety here. Now, of course, we have Representative Jim Jordan's subpoena and other financial investigations going on over Fani Willis. I expect we will get to the bottom of the truth about the financials, but it didn't play a role in this order specifically.
Many of us are thinking about former President Trump now. Does he have any recourse to challenge this ruling?
Yes, absolutely. He can appeal in Georgia. You require a certificate of appealability, which for lay people means permission from the appellate court to reach them. You could certainly appeal if there was a conviction, but nobody wants that. Fani Willis wants this case to race forward. Donald Trump and his team want to slow it down. I think they likely will seek an appeal. The problem with an appeal, though, is the appellate court might decide that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade shouldn't have been recused, which would be a problem. So you have to take what you get when you go to the appellate court level. That may be a reason to not pursue an appeal here.
I do want to ask you about Trump and his co-defendants. They had several charges in this case tossed just earlier in the week. Why were those charges dropped, Ronald?
Well, everybody in the United States, if you're going to be indicted, you get the benefit of notice. And notice means here are the charges that are levied against you. In this case, notice was not sufficient enough to tell the defendants what the crime actually was. In fact, in the indictment, Fani Willis essentially said that they violated their oath by violating the Constitution, which is incredibly vague. Those counts had to be dismissed. They really should have never appeared in an indictment. And that was a good ruling in this case.
In your opinion, how do you think the ruling will impact the trial and, of course, the strategies for both the prosecution and the defense going forward?
I think Nathan Wade resigning and Fani Willis moving forward is really a sign of the captain going down with the ship. This case is on its last legs, unfortunately. Fani Willis's credibility is in trouble. There are financial investigations against her office currently. The case is going to go forward, potentially even to a trial. But with credibility findings against a district attorney and some of the strongest language I've ever seen, it's going to be difficult for them to find a jury that would convict.
We really appreciate the context this Saturday morning. Ronald Chapman, thank you so much, sir.